Hello and welcome to my channel where we talk about North Germanic paganism, lore and folklore from different parts of Europe as lore and folklore comes across from various sources, both old and new. And this is the place where I like sharing from my own personal gnosis as well. Do you know that the meaning of runic characters are preserved in 3 poems known as the rune poems? I keep referring to them all along, and it occurred to me that not everyone may be familiar with the sources we have for runes' meanings. So, rune poems, what are they? How many are they? And why should we even care? Again, this is not a full class on runes, so we are not going to delve really deep into this topic, which is really long and relatively complicated. We are going to discuss broadly about where the runes get their meanings. There are several poems that have the meaning of runes enshrined in their verses. The best known are the Norwegian, the Icelandic, and the Anglo-Saxon rune poems. There is also a Swedish rune poem, but the first 3 are much older and more widespread. For some scholars, the verses in rune poems are just mnemonics, devices to help people remember the letters in those alphabets, like the ABC songs help children memorize the alphabet. But if we look up closer, we notice that each rune poem and thus each runic alphabet encapsulates a whole worldview. Everything that was important, valuable, or in other ways relevant for people in that historical age has a corresponding rune symbol and is therefore described in the rune poems. Take Yera rune, for example, which translates as harvest. It translates as year also, related to the English word year and the German word Jahr. In the century past, people's livelihood depending on a good harvest. Thus, a rune speaking of year, therefore timing, and harvest was included among the runic symbols and its meaning preserved in a rune poem because harvest and harvesting and the year, the timing, were all very important activities, important concepts. Verses help people remember not just the letters, but also their meanings. So if runic scripts were consulted, let's say for omen taking, people saw not just the letter, and the sound it made, but also its meaning and the message it carried. Another example, hail, yeah, hagalas, and ice, isa. These were parts of seasonal cycles. The runes describe cold, inclement weather and phenomena that may pose challenges. But aside from the literal translation, these runes, Hagalas and Isa, also carried symbolic meanings recorded in those verses. Through interpreting those meanings in divination, people could derive guidance regarding the seasons ahead, potential challenging events, and get advice when facing certain choices. Changes in religious beliefs translated into changes about the original meanings of the runes as they were initially represented in poems. Sometimes verses were adjusted to reflect the beliefs of the scribes recording the texts and align with beliefs that were becoming prevalent in the society of that time. Copying the rune poems was not done with the explicit intent of perpetuating a heathen worldview, although this still happened. There is plenty in the texts, including the rune poems, to help us see through the veneer if we look closely and have a basic understanding of scholarly work, sagas, and myth material. So, this is all for today. I hope I'll see you for the next episode where we will ponder over the question, were the runes actually ever used in divination in the historical past? Thanks for listening. And if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe.